Like, did I have one too many, or is that a dog?
They like Google it and they're like, okay, what does the lion roar sounds like? And it's roar. And they're like, that doesn't sound like the thing I heard a few seconds ago.
They
I
have
think
like
I'm
that.
being had.
What's that like baby toy that has all the animal sounds on
Yeah,
it?
yeah, the wheel. The lion goes roar. The dog goes bark, bark, bark.
It's like, wait
like-
a minute, they pull it out.
Someone pulls out the random.
Yeah, they have it. They're like, okay, wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna do a scientific
doesn't
test
add
real
up.
quick.
It's like, why did you have that? I can explain.
For this exact reason.
Just in case. Wow.
This is Kyle Hebert, the voice of the narrator from Dragon Ball Z, and you're listening to Anime on Top. Booyah!
Live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, Internet, and welcome to another episode of Anime on Top, Anime Podcast. I am your host, Takun, here with Wakashi.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And Curtis.
Hello, everybody.
And it says that Neokage's here, but I didn't hear anything.
He was, well, sort of. I tried to call him, but something happened.
Okay.
I don't know what. He'll probably tell us later.
Alright, well, he's here in spirit. Today we will be doing a bit of a reflection on an OVA. Is it like an OVA kind of series, or?
Yeah, it's like they said ONA. I forgot what ONA means, but I know it was like a online only kind of thing.
Okay.
So
Only network access.
maybe. Yeah.
That's a possibility. But first off, I guess we'll go around the proverbial table and ask everyone what they've been up to. So first on my list is Curtis. What's going on?
Nothing much. I started watching Darker Than Black, and
Oh, cool.
I was telling Wakashi earlier that I'm probably not going to finish it because I'm not exactly like sure how far. I've gotten like a decent amount into the series, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to give me the closure that I want. Have you seen it?
I saw its first season or whatever. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw 2 episodes.
All right. Well, you know that there's like the characters with the contractors that are basically like psychic powers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Those guys have their own thing going on, but I think like the Hell's Gate, which gave them all the powers and stuff like that, I think that's way more interesting than what's going on in their lives. And from what I've heard, apparently they don't really ever explain it all the way, like what it is. So I'm like,
Oh God.
I'm more worried about like the mysterious, murderous world where if you go in there, you just get demolished for no reason. I think that's a lot cooler than, ironically, with the guys with psychic powers that are able to like blow people up and stuff like that.
Yeah. I do believe like towards the end of the series, they actually go in there.
Oh yeah, they
I
do.
remember. I saw a show years ago. Like this was back when I streamed anime.
Yeah, I saw it on Netflix forever, and then like people kept suggesting that I see it and stuff like that, and they said it's really good. Honestly, I like that the people, like when they fight, that they are more smart about it. It's not like who's more OP, it's more about, okay, who uses their powers more effectively.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like a same like tired formula that's been used a lot, and I'm just not into it.
Yeah, it's pretty blasé, actually. I like the idea of it, but I don't know. I couldn't focus on it. I just kept like getting bored.
Yeah, I like sat through it and watched a huge amount of it in one day just because I had the day off. But then after that, I was kind of like, you know what? I didn't really enjoy that as much as I thought I did. That's always the thing. Like at the time, I'm like, yeah, this is really good, and then a few minutes later, I'm like, well, in actuality, there's probably something better you could spend your time on.
Yeah.
And then also, I had discovered my coworker is an otaku, like a legit otaku, I guess. Like, he told me he had a waifu at one point. And I had been talking to him about anime. Like, I thought he was more like me, like, sort of a casual anime watcher and stuff like that, not somebody who's completely engrossed in it. And then I'm like, wait a second, do you, like, have a body pillow? And he's like, yeah, I got a body pillow with, like, my waifu on it. I'm like, oh, God. No, like, he was, like, telling me that, like, he spent, like, his first paychecks, like, I met him, like, when he worked there and stuff, on figurines and stuff like that. And then I'm
That's
like,
great.
and
Oh
then
yeah,
he's
mind you, you said he had a Lucky Star pillow, right? That's not just a pillow, that's a Lucky Star pillow.
Wow.
yeah, Lucky Star specifically. Like, I can't remember who it was, but it's like one of the chicks from Lucky Star, like one of the numerous ones. I assume. I've never seen the series. I know nothing about it, but
That probably ruined the show for you. You're just like, I don't even want to watch this anymore.
I mean, like, I was always sort of. I don't really like slice of life in that vein
Okay,
as
yeah.
much, so I'm.
That's alright, yeah.
But I'm sort of like, oh my gosh, it's sort of like, why didn't I pick up on this before? And then I was like, well, you have a job for one. So, like, that sort of already sort of discredits you as an otaku. And two, like, you have ambitions and you don't smell, like, really, really bad. So, like, that's kind of how I
Yeah.
always imagine, like, stink lines coming off of, like, some weird guy in, like, glasses that's, like, a super obese. And also, he's, like, I don't know. I mean, he's not like a weeaboo or anything. He's not like some pale, like, white American guy. He's like, it's like Mexican kid. And I'm like, again, like, it's sort of racist, but at the same time,
You're a cooler otaku if you're Mexican. That's just
well, no, it
be
just kind of
straight.
came out of left field. Like, that's
Yeah.
normally I'd be like, okay, wait a second, this guy's way too into anime. This must be it. I have nothing against it. It's just,
Yeah.
And then I ruined like his favorite, almost ruined his favorite anime slash manga for him by coming up with a really retarded fan theory. And in exchange, he gives me insight that I really don't need on like his otaku like lifestyle. So
So embarrassing himself was his payback, I guess.
yeah, but I mean, he has no shame, so he's only like creeping me out.
Okay.
That is no taco.
Yeah, he has no shame. He's just like, yeah, I got all these figurines, and I've got these games that. There's a reason no one's allowed in my room, and I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Nice.
Awesome. Wakushu?
You had a revelation. Went to a job fair. Speaking of jobs, I was an idiot. Well, first I went to Zoomies, and like, you guys have an application? They're like, no, just go online. Like all the other places I went to. I got a hacky sack, and then kicked it around. Went to this tea shop for some reason because they were selling free tea. Yeah. And then
Selling free tea.
yeah.
Wait, they were selling
Free tea
free
is for sale.
Exactly. Yes, they were selling free tea. And then it was like this
That's
chick that was
interesting.
just like showing me all these types of tea, and I had so much tea, and she like talking so much that I felt bad. I'm like, I have to at least buy something.
Yeah.
And then I got like the smallest thing of like what I liked of the flavors, and it came up to be 19 something, and this was like less than a pound of tea.
That's how they get you, dude.
I was just like, I hate myself. Why do I have to be like this? Why can't I just be a dick and just be like, no, bye?
Just run out with all the free tea.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I mean, they gave it to me. They offered the tea.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm being a jerk. It's just I wasted your time. But, so yeah, I walked out of that. Went to Trader Joe's, got some Tuscany bread because it's amazing. And, yeah, so that's my daily life as far as outside of anime. Inside of anime, I finished Watamote. It was pretty good. It, like, ended on a somewhat positive yet bleak note, kind of. It was more bleak, but it had a good message, I think, as far as school goes, where you're just like, screw being popular, I guess, whatever.
Awesome.
Sunday Without God, I finished that one. That was kind of like a what the heck, really? Like, just
No way.
like there's this part where like someone shoots a gun and like the other characters are just still talking. I'm like, how did you not hear that? Like, I know you're outside the courtyard, but how did you not hear that gunshot? And then like this plot twist where I'm like, that made no sense. That contradicted what happened 2 episodes ago. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, it was an interesting show because it had a lot of world building that I was interested in, but it just ended on a retarded plot twist.
All right. Don't mean to interrupt, but weirdly enough, again, like that coworker I was discussing earlier, he told me that he finished Sunday Without God. and that it ended really weirdly, but he really liked the ending. He was like, man, it was like a really crazy twist. Like, he told me basically what all happened and stuff, and I was like, that just weird that you would mention that, because it was like one of those animes like, I'm sure, like, oh, I'm never going to see that, and it's never going to come up again.
It's fun, but it's not something I'd be like, oh, you got to see this, Like, it was just interesting, and yeah, just the ending, it just felt like I just didn't get it. Like, I think I need to rewatch it. If it actually makes sense, I need to rewatch it to see how it makes sense, because I was like they switched the roles, like, oh no, that person's not actually dead. I'm actually the person who's dead. I'm like, what? Okay.
Well, again, I don't want to like spoil it, but this is the one where like people can't die,
Yeah.
but they become undead, and
Yeah, like God basically abandoned the world.
on the
Oh, is that
seventh
the
day.
one with the chick with the shovel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then they kill off. He was really mad that they killed off a really badass character within like the first few episodes. Like, he was very livid about that. He's like, he was so good. Spoilers, by the way.
They weren't even that.
He
I mean, that
dies.
guy was kind of cool, but it felt almost like something I've seen a million times in like an RPG, like something you would have seen a lot in like a Final Fantasy game, like that kind of character killed off.
Interestingly enough, he said that they were trying to do what they did to like Kamina, like build you up and like think that he's so cool, and then like get a big emotional impact. But
Yeah.
he said it fell flat just basically because how did this guy just die randomly?
Yeah. It's like I thought they weren't supposed to die. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the best, like he was immortal, like the greatest guy. Again, like I have no clue. I have not seen the anime. He's just told me a lot about it and just
Yeah.
been very angry about a certain guy dying.
Yeah. It's definitely not my favorite show of the season, but it was interesting. So I guess the other one I finished was Silver Spoon. It's going to continue, by the way, January. It's pretty good. It's like a slice of life about this agricultural high school. And this kid, that doesn't know what he wants to do. At the end of it, he kind of like had to, I guess, come to terms with the fact that people who work in the industry have to raise animals and eat them and just deal with it.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's one we watched. One where he was like upset that eggs come out of a chicken's butthole.
Yeah. And then, Polar Bear Cafe, I'm almost done with that. Attack on Titan, still doing good, almost over. Hunter x Hunter is...
You said it would be over.
What?
Attack on Titan.
It's going to be over, like in a week or two.
You said it was going to end on 25.
25? Okay, I thought it was 26.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it is 25. I don't...
No,
Well,
it's still going on. It like 25 is already
Oh.
out.
It's out? Okay, well, Crunchyroll is late then. But it's like... On my queue, it says 25 tomorrow. But yeah, it's a good show. I feel like it needs to end at 26, because the way it's going right now, it's like, what the flip,
It doesn't get any better.
Yeah, like Hunter x Hunter, they had like that side story with the spiders. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
And then the last one I'll mention was Gatchaman Crowds. I think it's one of the better shows this season as far as entertainment goes. Like, it has a good message, I think, sort of. I hope it doesn't fall on its face, but I like it a lot. It's really fun. And yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome. As for me, last week I went to a LAN party,
Nice.
which sucked because the only reason I came to it was to compete in a game tournament that they didn't even play.
Oh,
So I pretty much lost 12 hours of sleep for nothing. And then a friend of mine is like, hey, what are you doing Saturday? I'm like, the usual nothing. And then she's like, do you have money? I was like, it depends. And she's like, do you want to go to a con? And I was like, okay. So we drive like 2.5 hours to this really tiny convention.
which one was it?
It had a weird freaking name. Hold on.
Was it in Kentucky?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, you probably went to the same one that my friend went to, because she lives in Kentucky, and it's like Oyuemacon or something, some weird name like that.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, I mean, it was their first year.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so I pretty much knew what to expect, but there was like literally not much there.
Yeah, I think she told me that. It was like, blah.
Like freaking like once you walk in, it was at a convention center, I think. But like when you walk in, there was like freaking like some sort of like a store that sold like appliances. So there's like normal people just walking in, and then like there's all these people in cosplay and stuff walking around, and like I was like, this is really, really bizarre.
It's like, I brought my money here.
Yeah, and like the place didn't even like they didn't even have any anime to sell.
Wow. What? What? At an anime convention, they had no anime.
It was that tiny.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Even the whatever, like the people who sell stuff that they want to go there, like, yeah, we're not gonna make any money here.
yeah,
That's sad. Sheesh.
I did end up buying an Attack on Titan wallet and a keychain. It's freaking huge. Oh, and I there was a guy there dressed up as Luigi, and he had a Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which was my first console. And I was like, "Oh, what you got here?" And he's like, he had like all these ROM hacks for games for the SNES,
Okay.
and like so I put like Super Mario in, and it's like Super Mario cross Castlevania, and it was really hard. And I was like, this is one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And yeah, I stayed there for the day. There was a voice. Oh my god, I felt so bad for this voice actor that was there. I didn't look at all the stuff he was in, but like I remember that one of the things he was in, he was the voice of Brock in Pokemon.
Okay.
Like he was just sitting there completely alone, nothing to sign. And I was just like, oh, that's so sad. And like, meanwhile, there's like this other voice actor. There's a line that extends outside the whole building.
Big Manana.
Oh, yeah, right. Like, I would be so furious if I saw a huge line for Vic Mignogna.
Oh, that happens, dude. Otakon.
But yeah,
they had...
but it does happen. That's
no,
the
okay,
thing.
look. This is what happened at Otakon this year, right? They had Japanese people, like from staff from Japan, having autographs, right? Like autograph lines for like an hour or something.
Yeah.
Vic had a 2-hour line.
Oh my.
He had an hour longer than these people from Japan. What the flip? Longer than Watanabe. What the flip? The guy who made Cowboy Bebop. He had a bigger line than him.
Yeah, that sucks.
That makes no sense. Fangirls, man. That's what it is. I'm so glad that he said that he has a fiance now, so I wonder if they'll just like turn away or something. Like, you betrayed us!
Turn to stone.
Yeah.
In terms of anime, unfortunately, I'm a college student, so I have to put annoying things first before fun things. I did get the chance to catch up all the way on Attack on Titan.
Awesomeness.
Yeah. What do I want to say? Oh yeah, the female Titan. I had a good idea who it was, but I felt it would be too easy. And I cannot get that scene out of my head where she's freaking spinning one of the guys.
Yeah.
See, this is always really
my
painful
God.
for me because I'm like a weak human being and I always read ahead with like the manga, so like
Yeah.
I don't know what's been released or what's been revealed yet, so
I forgot how much are out right now. Like, I think 17 are out or 11 or something. I forget.
I've been like trying to cut myself off being like, because honestly, this is one of the few cases where the anime I feel is a lot better than the manga as far as like the art goes.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's Spider-Man animation, so
It's just that the actual artist, like, he has a really good plot. He's just not that good at drawing. I don't think he's just never comes out that well.
You mean the manga or?
Yeah, in the manga. In the manga, it's
Yeah.
a little bit sketchier and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that's more like, you see like Bleach or, one of the big three, like where it's all very crisp and stuff. There's a lot more just sort of,
I heard the heads are too big.
yeah, there's a lot of disproportion and stuff like that. It's a little weird.
Okay.
And for the most part, like, I'm usually like, okay, the anime is usually dumbs down whatever the artist is doing. That's how I felt about like Soul Eater, Bleach, and stuff like that. But in this case, I'd say the anime is probably doing better because it's got a lot of like really cool, those little cuts where it's like really still frames and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
the color palette's nice.
Well, I need to check out the Soul Eater's manga then, because I thought the art in the anime was pretty cool looking.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought too. And then I started reading the manga. Like, it starts off as a little more raw, but later on it gets very, very crisp. And the artist, like, how they always have those little full pages of just art, just randomly throughout manga. His are, like, very, very well done. Like, if this guy just made, like, a gallery of just stuff that he would do, I would go see that.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, his manga and stuff like that. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's very distinct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just hard to say about anime.
Definitely.
I really do like Soul Eater's art style. I just like that whole jankety look, you know?
Oh yeah, it kind of reminds me a bit more of like the American style because there's a lot of parts where it's like very heavily inked. Like
Yeah.
the outlines are a lot heavier than like everything else in there and stuff like that. And then of course you've got the sun and moon. Like that's like
Oh, yeah.
They scare me.
actually, the Soul Eater anime's been done forever. The manga ended, I think it was last month, but it may have been like even longer ago than that. But there's a side series that he started off at the same time called Soul Eater Not.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I
A
saw
friend of
the
mine
cover
has that.
for-
Yeah, and it's starting up again. It kind of went on a hiatus after a little bit. Like he was going to do both of them at the same time, and then he decided like that's kind of crazy. But it's starting back up again in November, so I'm kind of excited for that. It's kind of like an ecchi almost parody like version of Soul Eater, but
Yeah, like,
it's-
how is that? I never felt like actually picking
it's
it up.
it's good. It's just I made a comparison to like Rave Master, the fairy tale earlier. It's a little like that, except it gives a little bit more backstory about what goes on in the school.
Okay.
So it's almost like a slice of life combined with what's going on. But then he has cameos from the actual Soul Eater come in and stuff like that and stuff like.
Okay.
But the main character is completely different. It actually takes place, I guess, a couple years before the Soul Eater starts.
Oh.
So that's like the idea. It's not bad. It's just again, there's fan service and stuff, and some like character tropes that are kind of tired. But I really like the art style still, and where he ended, he sort of implied that the story was going to take a very serious turn rather than like what he'd been like leading up to, because there was a lot more like episodic stuff. So I think it's worth looking into. If it gets made into an anime, that would be kind of cool, but.
Yeah, it just all depends on whether or not the first one made a lot of money in Japan.
Yeah, it's good. Again, a lot of people complained about Soul Eater, like the anime not ending the way that they really liked it to end. Like, it sort of
Yeah.
ended abruptly. The
I
manga...
didn't really have a problem with the ending, but I didn't read the manga, so I really.
Oh, I didn't either. The reason I read the manga, actually, was just because I was like, okay, it probably doesn't end in, like, 25 episodes or whatever it ended, so let's see where it goes from there. Honestly, you're not missing a whole bunch if you don't read the manga, which is also rare for me to say. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm more of a prude when it comes to like manga and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this is it, and it's like natural habitat. But even then, I'm like, you could go without it. It's good. There's a lot of really good art in it. It's just you wouldn't miss out a whole bunch, really.
Okay. So I guess next up is crazy Asian news.
Those crazy.
Asians.
All right,
I know you're trying not to be offensive, like whatever.
don't.
We love you still, Asian
Yeah,
person.
I thought we
you're
were.
not getting rid of me so easily.
Thought we were gonna go like the edgier route and just be super offensive.
No,
Just
I want to
cultural
live in
differences.
Japan.
you want to live in Japan?
Oh yeah,
You do? Okay.
it's expensive as crap to live there though.
I don't want to live there, but I'd love to visit
Same.
because I like America too much and the diversity too much. Like I just don't want to stick out. Like the only time I kind of regret not going to Japan, like if I could go back in time and like be a transfer student for like a semester. I think if you're a foreigner, you're just automatically this anomaly.
Yeah,
You know.
I know they're really growing to hate white people.
I could see it. Well,
It doesn't seem like it in their anime. That's for
Well,
sure.
because Japan, I feel like a lot of people go there thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be really crazy and wacky, but then they go there and they find out everybody's very, very like strict and formal and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
And see, a lot of people don't get like the more strict your culture is and the more like formal everything is, the more like your art is expressive, more crazy and weird. That's how
Yeah.
I feel about it.
Yeah.
they are an extremely introverted people.
Right. So that's how you get really crazy slice of life anime being like, I wish my life was more like
Yeah,
people overreacting to weird stuff and blushing like a whole bunch, but normally it's just more like, okay. That's how I feel like a lot of them would respond to like most of the stuff that people overreact in animes.
Yeah. So, In North Korea, Kim Jong-un's ex-lover was executed by a firing squad.
Oh man.
Oh God.
Yeah. She was a singer, apparently. She was among the 12 arrested for violating North Korea's laws on pornography. Okay. So...
Wait, she violated a pornography law?
I guess.
Yeah. And the accused were charged with recording and selling videos of themselves performing sexual acts. So, okay. So if you're a pervert, you will be shot.
Executed by machine guns. Oh god.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know.
And all of their members to see. Wow. Okay. Like,
Wow.
that's...
Wow. Again, we make out, Japan to be very, very crazy, but in reality, North Korea is the fucking looniest place in the world, and almost depressingly so. Sometimes it's more like, oh, North Korea, and then other times it's like, God, North Korea. What have you done?
Yeah. Did you know that, like, if you're under the age of 16, it's illegal for you to play video games past midnight?
Oh, man. I could only imagine how they'd enforce it, because, some people be like, oh, they can enforce that. I'm like, well, don't underestimate North Korea.
Yeah, well, that's what the Xbox One is for, it has that camera, so...
Yeah.
They'll be able to...
Well, like, they're so famous for their MMO games, right? So I'm pretty sure, like, if you signed up, they would have to ask you, like, your age or something.
I thought that was South Korea more. Like, they were more like the guys with the StarCraft or something like that, or like...
Oh.
It might be South Korea where that law is, because they have a lot of MMO games.
Well, and they treat pro MMO players like actual athletes and stuff. Like, well, that's what I've, like, read. It's like, they take that shit seriously there.
Oh yeah, when GTA 5 first came out, this Korean dude, like, uploaded a picture of the end credits.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Like 5 minutes in.
I feel like in South Korea or wherever it is where they take it seriously, that's how Americans wish MLG gaming was. Like, the Major League.
Yeah, just, like, dominating.
The Halo competition at PAX, like, the reward was $200,000, so that's kind of serious, I think.
Serious bacon.
Yes.
Well, that's really depressing. I don't want to talk about North Korea anymore.
Let's
That's
turn away
really
from
sad.
that one and talk about happier news, like a father and son found in a Vietnamese jungle 40 years later.
Incidentally, that's what I have up.
They were in a jungle for 4 years?
40 years.
40 years?
Yes, times 10.
Good God.
So they found them.
Someone earned their merit badge.
Yeah. God. Gotta camp out in the wilderness for 3 days, stay there for 40 years.
So they've been rescued and now they're just hospitalized, and I guess they said the next challenge for them is to be members of society. 'Cause I think the son can like barely speak the language, so.
Wow.
Like, how old was he when he got stranded, or do you know? Does it say?
Well, he's 41 now, so I guess he was 1.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah. One guy is 82, too weak to walk. Like, he was living out in the jungle for that long.
My
But
goodness.
father and son, authorities found Ho Van Than, now 82, too weak to walk. Ho Van Long, now 41, could barely speak the region's core language, knowing only a few local words. Wow.
I
Pretty
just don't see how they didn't find their way out after 40 years, but...
Well, they probably thought the war was still going on. They're like, I don't want to go back into that. Or something, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so happy news is over. Next up is Pepsi flavored Cheetos hit Japan's supermarket shelves, and that's all I want to say. Really, it's nothing else to say other than like, yeah, that's different.
Sounds disgusting, actually.
I mean, I said the same thing about the Doritos Locos Tacos, and like, look how that took off.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Japan has some weird flavors of like stuff in general, though.
Oh yeah, my mom sent me a care package. She told me that she has a Japanese friend who's like a masseuse, and she said that they have their own like Japanese Cheetos, and they're like individually wrapped and like they're really really big. And then I took one out, and it's like it was like yellow, and there was like green seasonings on it. And so, like,
It's fancy.
I was just like, all right, screw it. I take a bite, and it was the nastiest thing I've ever had.
I don't know if you guys ever thought of Pepsi as being citrusy. I personally, I've never thought about that, but
I haven't
apparently,
either.
early reviews say it's too lemony, overpowering the sweetness to attempt to imitate Pepsi's citrus tinge. I've never really known that. I just always thought Pepsi as being like a bad Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I'm on that side of the
Yes,
debate.
high five.
Yeah, all right.
I second that.
Yeah, we high five right there, like
Yeah, because I don't
for the
think
internet.
there's no competition between those two. Come
But-
on.
Yeah, it's just weird that like they'd be like it's lemony. I've never gotten a lemony like taste from like Pepsi. Like I have drank it before. It's just, and then getting that out of Cheetos.
Yeah.
Wait. Here's the final line. This looks pretty good. Take it from Limp Bizkit's third album, Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water. Ah, man.
Wow.
I don't know about that. I'm confused how to feel. This article mentioned Limp Bizkit, Pepsi flavored Cheetos. I'm lost for words.
It's
I mean,
okay.
it pretty much writes itself. Like, just look at the article.
I really want to see like the sales records for these things.
I feel like it's probably like a testing ground because I feel like everything that's too weird for America, they're like, well, maybe Japan will like
Is it Japanese?
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess the last story, Chinese zoo under fire for passing off a dog as a lion.
Oh yeah. I keep hearing about that.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Well, judging from the picture, it's pretty convincing from what I've seen. He has all the lion qualities. That's
Yeah, but like
I'm-
it looks like a lion, but it doesn't scream lion.
no. I mean, I'm joking. Like, but at the same time, does anybody care? Because you go to the zoo, you look at a lion, it doesn't do anything. I've been to the Indianapolis Zoo like several times, and every time the lions have been like sitting around. The
Oh,
most
yeah.
exciting thing I've ever seen a lion do is take a dump. And that made me like walk away and be like, okay, let's go find the manatees or something like that. Like,
Yeah, manatees. I love
you
it.
go to the zoo and you think, oh man, the lions have got to be like the coolest thing. They're gonna like walk around and roar and stuff. And then,
Oh god, no.
and all that being said, like looking at this picture, I'd be like, I'd be more interested to see what this thing does.
Oh wait, they actually the way they were able to catch that it was a freaking dog was because it was barking.
I was just about to say that. Like, I am lion. Hear me bark.
Barking at people when they walk by, they're like, hold on a second. They pull up like on
It's
their
like, wait a minute.
It's like, did I have one too many, or is that a dog?
They like Google it and they're like, okay, what does the lion roar sounds like? And it roar. And they're like, that doesn't sound like the thing I heard a few seconds ago. I
have,
think
like,
I'm being cat.
What's that like baby toy that has all the animal sounds on it?
Yeah, the wheel. The lion goes roar. The dog goes bark, bark, bark.
Just like, wait
like-
a minute, and they pull it out.
Someone pulls out a random.
Yeah, they have it. They're like, okay, wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna do a
Something
scientific
doesn't
test
add
real
up.
quick.
It's like, why did you have that? I can explain,
For this exact reason.
just in case. Wow. So I guess that's Asian news.
Wait. Can I just want to read like the last like sentence.
Okay.
All right. Chinese zoos have been battling with government rules banning for-profit animal shows, and to keep the shows profitable, real exotic animals are replaced with lookalikes, no matter how obvious the cheat may seem. So it's kind of like
You getting your money's worth? I don't know.
it's kind of like those things that like lure you in. They're like, and this is a lion, and then like you pay the money, and then you go and you're like,
April Fools.
this is not a lion, and it barks.
I bet they were trying to cover it up like, okay, here's the line. Alright, stop looking at it.
I mean, if it's a circus act, yeah, you can see it. But if it's like at a zoo, then again, like, why would you be going to the zoo just to see the lion? The monkeys do way creepier and weirder things than lion. Oh god,
They're just like us with no morals.
monkeys? Yeah, they took. I have stories about monkeys at zoos, and it's just.
Oh no, we all have stories about monkeys at the zoo.
And this was in the scope of like 10 minutes. What they did, They committed more crimes that in like in our world that would get you put in jail for life than like a career criminal could like do like in like a week. I was impressed. I was like, wow, that's really terrible what they are doing here. It's not even poop related. It's more like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's not get into that.
Have you seen that video on YouTube of the child at the zoo and she's at the lion exhibit and like the freaking lion is trying to eat her, but it's like trapped behind the glass, and like the lion, it's opening its jaw like twice the size of the baby's head and just trying to eat it, and like everybody's just laughing, and I'm like, you realize that glass wasn't there.
That baby would be dead.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Yeah, I remember I went to the zoo and I saw the lions, and the coolest thing about them was that like there was this female lion that was just staring at me.
She wanted you. She wanted the
Well, she was staring at everybody, but like there was a point where she was like, me and her were just locking eyes, and I was just like,
seductive. Some 70s music came out.
Yeah. She had that come hither look in her eye.
Yeah, dude. You got cougars, and then you have like lions. All right, that's enough of that.
Okay, so anime news. Attack on Titan creator aims to end manga in 20 volumes, so it's going to be sweet and short.
That's good.
Yeah.
Again, 20 volumes. I think that's pretty good. Like, he's got a lot of closure to come up with, but at the same time, I think it could be done. I'm not sure where the manga's at right now.
Yeah.
But I'd assume it's I don't even know if it's into 10 volumes yet, really, to be honest.
On this news article, they're showing volume 11, with pretty much a spoiler to me, because I don't know what that Titan is.
All right, so there's so many questions to wrap up, but at the same time, like, I've always had it in my head that this guy has his shit together to, like, actually explain it all.
Yeah.
That's well, every time he answers a question, it raises another. So, like, I mean, I do like that, and it keeps me on the edge of my seat. But, like, you answer one question, you get 5 more. So that's kind of cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I just want to see what's in that freaking basement.
Oh man!
I just feel like he's just gonna open it, and then there's like
nothing there.
1,000 Titan bodies, and then like a normal sized Titan talking to him or something. It's just making my mind go crazy.
And that would be like a normal thing. That would be, again, I've read ahead of this. I have no clue what's going on in the basement. They've completely there have been so many things that I've read ahead of that have raised questions that I've been like that's even low priority.
Yeah, I mean, which is dumb, because, like, his dad's like, okay, the key to this entire war we're having is in the basement.
And he's like,
so let's not go to the basement.
I mean, when they're going after the female Titan, like, that's sort of the idea, is they want to reclaim those lands in order to get back to the basement. Like, the weird guy with the mustache is like, this seems like a good idea. Because they literally have no other hope besides that. They're like, well, hopefully there's something in the basement that'll help us. And dude, everything gets way more complicated right after that. And if it ends where I think it's going to end, then you guys are just going to be like squirming in your chairs, just being like, why?
Yeah. I mean,
I am too. I'm like,
they're definitely going to make a second season. They have to.
I've read ahead and I've like gotten some answers and then more questions.
Yeah.
So like, there's like an exponential dip being like, all right, we were answering some mysteries and everything, more questions just go up.
Yeah, there's no way they're not gonna keep making more anime though. That's for sure, because it's like doing really well everywhere. So
I hope so. I mean, again, the manga is not like really aesthetically pleasing as the anime. So
yeah. And I guess the last bit of news I wanted to mention was I thought it was kind of funny because like okay, so Hunter x Hunter. If you're not following it, it's on the Chimera Antarc, and if you know anything about that, it's not exactly kid-friendly. It's been pretty, I would say, even though I haven't read the manga, I would like to assume it's being pretty accurate and giving it justice.
from what I've heard from you, it's yeah.
Yeah. So they're moving it over to the Tuesday night slot, late Tuesday night. This brings up a lot of questions as to the future of the show because one,
Such a weird time.
well, yeah, that I guess, and also Sunday mornings was more of a mainstream time slot, I guess, because like a lot of kids watch anime early in the morning, like we used to, I assume.
Yeah.
All right,
I
too.
don't know how I got up that early, but so I might lose ratings, maybe, you know.
Or Kids Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was fun for first 2 seasons. So.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing, I lost my train of thought, and yeah. Okay, so the other thing, dang it, Takun, I lost my
Yeah.
thought. I was about to say something, and then you said something, and then now I'm blaming you. So
Or-
Drop the
Oranges.
motherfucking ball.
I forgot what the other thing was. Okay, the one thing is moving to a different time slot.
High Soka is creepy.
The other thing I'm worried about is, I guess, yeah, like is this gonna get canceled because there's no more manga being made right now? I heard that the Khmer Ant arc is actually a long arc, and by the way they're going with it, they're going like 1 chapter at a time instead of like 3 chapters at a time like they did with the other arcs. So they're going really slow with it, but it doesn't feel slow. Like it feels like they're doing what they're supposed to do with the pacing.
Well, keep in mind, dude, this manga has been going on since the 90s, so it's got a huge cult fan base. And from where it sounds like you guys are at right now, again, it's kind of turning into a more like seinen manga, like more like that, where again, like it wouldn't hold the interest necessarily of like kids and stuff like that. And the reason that I think Hunter x Hunter exploded so much because of this reboot is because the original series kind of sucked. And also, again, like they've had this huge cult following that is like, I think it's more of that than just like little kids getting into it being like, yeah, Gon and like Killua, because I mean, dude, there's no like female like characters in the show.
No,
Like,
when they have one, it's like all the jiggles they can get in the animation, and then they're gone.
See, in the manga, it's more just like, oh yeah, here's another girl. Look at these prepubescent boys, though. I think the author's kind of like trolling everybody, but
Yeah,
I still love it. I'm like, that's one of my favorite mangas. So
I second that he's trolling people because it's like he has so many characters that you think are a girl and they're actually not. So
well, he did that in Yu Yu Hakusho a little bit too. Like like one of the characters that they thought turned out to be like a dude. He's like, oh, I checked
oh yeah, that was funny.
in like mid fight.
During the fight, he found out.
Or like Haku from Naruto.
Oh my gosh,
Oh yeah, a lot of people.
that scarred me.
See, I kind of got that though because that was like one of the first purchased like a Shonen Jump in America, and that was like one of the first chapters showed Haku, and I was like, I think I know what's going on here. And then I like went online and stuff, and everybody was like really mad when it turns out, oh yeah, this guy's a dude, and I'm like, oh man. Well, because I wasn't even thinking about it at the time. I was like 14. Well, maybe I was. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the first trap I fell for.
It's like, oh dang it, it's a trap.
Well, move on.
So that's the anime news, people. Yeah, there's a lot more, but you know,
Yeah.
we got stuff to talk about.
We do indeed.
Yes. So we'll be back after the break.
And we're back.
Good, are we?
Nice.
Okay.
So
If we could be back after the break one more second, I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
all right.
Okay.
Now for a real break.
Now for a real break.
Above beneath a sunny sky, lingering over dreamily, an evening of July. Children three that nest so near, eager-eyed and willing ear, pleased a simple tale to hear. Long has paled that sunny sky, echoes fade and memories die. Autumn frost have slain July, ever drifting down the stream, lingering in the golden gleam. Life, what is it but a dream?
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
That's
I'm
all right.
back.
It's alright. We were talking about you, so.
All right. Well, I was like
can't-
waiting for like a time, like I'd be like, okay, maybe I can like sneak away real quick and go to
Look.
the bathroom,
Yeah.
and then like you guys kept like changing subjects, and I'm like, oh god, if I come back in the middle of a conversation, I have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
We were talking about Futanari and how awesome they are. No, I was kidding.
Oh god,
No, I was kidding. Okay.
But serious.
my eyeballs burn. All right. Are we back now?
Yeah, so I guess the topic today is Kyousogiga, the OVA, or the ONA, whatever you want to call it. Not the TV series that's about to come out soon, so yeah. I'm really hyped about that.
So am I.
Yeah.
All right. I know we're going to talk about it, but what exactly? Like, are we reviewing it? Are we discussing it?
I guess, like, did you just kind of want to go over what happened, basically? Like, do you want to talk about the OVA or the...
Dude, I could not describe that show even if I tried.
Okay. Well, see, like, I watched it multiple times. It's like, because it's one of those shows I think you definitely have to watch more than once to be like...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because especially the first... Okay, so the first OVA... When did it come out? Dang it. I suck.
That wasn't my fault.
I suck as a person. Is it on the streaming site, though?
Okay, I think to start off, what we should just say right now is the first OVA is not going to make any sense unless you watch the little mini series that comes after it.
Yeah, but at the same
And
time...
even at the same time, yeah, like at the same time, even if you do watch it, there will still be some holes, but you should really watch all of it. Like,
Yeah.
consider it like in one sitting.
Yeah, that show throws you right the hell into it.
It does like the sort of telling the story in reverse sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, like they just reveal like details. They give you a whole bunch of mystery and then they reveal details like later.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I guess you could say, I don't know if this would be spoilers, but like the 5 episodes that take place after that are all before the final.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
like, here's the current situation, and here's how things led to this situation,
Right.
basically.
Yeah, that's definitely how I would put it, and it's not really like easy to keep up with. Like you're really not supposed to know what's going on. I think that's like the big thing. You're not really supposed to know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like it throws you in a spastic mess, and then everything sort of gets revealed a little bit later.
Yeah. So, like, the first OVA came out, which is like the 25-minute one, it came out in 2011.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't know it was that old.
Yeah, like in December. And this is an original animation, which I was also... That's what I like about it, too, because it's not based off anything, so you don't have to worry about idiots being like, oh, this isn't like the manga, it's not good. Or this isn't like the light
That's
novel.
me.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This isn't like the manga.
I'm sorry, but I hear that all the time. I hear that so much from other people that I'm just like, thank you. There's something I don't have to hear that from. Like,
No,
with
I
guarantee.
totally get that.
And it's like its own story, so they can, they have more liberty with it too. Like they can, do whatever they want,
And they do.
Yeah. They definitely do whatever they want in the show.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, we were saying before that it had like a Gainax feel where it was very sort of spastic, like fast-paced, and the character movements really, like the animation, like sort of the main character is very, very OP, but at the same time everybody around her is sort of like more knowledgeable, I guess, or something like that.
It's like she has a lot of power, but she's not fully combat mature, I guess.
Yeah.
I think like the best jumping off point we would have is just like talking about the characters as we're like introduced to them.
Yeah.
First off, we have Kodo, who, has a giant hammer of magic badassness.
Yeah.
We were sort of introduced, like, I thought the white guys at the beginning were like the bad guys.
Yeah.
I thought that all the suits were like bad guys.
Oh, yeah.
I thought she was like fighting against them.
They're kind of
I
like there
freaking
just to
love those
control
guys.
the madness, I think. They're
Well-
supposed to be security.
Yeah, they work under
Shoko.
Shoko. We
Yeah.
figured out her name earlier. Yes, okay, Shoko. And then basically she's like looking for this rabbit, and at some point she destroyed most of the town during that.
Oh, well, you see, yeah, so like in the first episode, she basically stole this hammer from
Did she steal
Bishi.
it?
Huh?
Did she actually steal it?
Yeah, I think maybe her little brother stole it for her or something.
Well, they were like, give the hammer back, or
Yeah, like it was
Oh,
from
right.
Bishi. It's from that robot that Shoko has. I think she calls it Bishimaru or something like that.
Yeah, Shamaru.
Yeah, it's just like this giant golden robot that she controls it with like a PSP.
Right.
And
We're not worried about like spoilers, are we?
no.
Alright, well. Next there's Ah and Un.
お前こそ何してんだ何っていうかあれか何ですか
And
I love those guys too.
oh, I love those are like the first characters that Ah is I think the more headstrong, like kind of crazy one, and Un is like the sort of like
Whatever.
Just
calm, collected. He's
that's
got
exactly
his hands
what
in
he
his
is.
pockets like the entire time, and they're twins. But later on, like in the series, they're described as familiars. So
Yeah.
they're sort of like demons or like spirits that whatever order that Kodo belongs to, people use them.
Yeah. And I think she made them sort of because like
Yeah, she said that she created them and gave them the name.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of confusing because in the series they were like saying, "Oh, don't you want to go home?" And he's like, "Yeah, you want to see like mom and dad?" And he's like, "I don't even remember like what mom and dad looked like or anything." So that was like a little like it threw me off. That was something in the series. Like they kind of had a little discussion between Anun about
Well,
going home.
I was able to make sense of it when they had that episode centered around the freaking the monk guy.
Mayo.
Yeah, because like he was talking about how he was basically the dog waiting for the guy to return or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's like, when I return, I'm gonna have the beginning and the end with me.
Right, right.
Yeah, and then and then when I found that out, and when he found that out, like we both like flipped out. I was like, oh my god, it's her, it's her.
Yeah. Well, because at the end of the OVA, here's like the big discussion. Well, before we get into that, Mayo is a monk in the series, and he's like the apprentice of another monk who can like draw stuff and bring it to life, I guess.
Yeah. That's why he has
Yeah.
like those weirdly drawn like when you see those like the frog and the rabbit kind of walking around.
Yeah, those were drawn
Yes.
drawings.
Yeah, the monkey.
おい聞いてんのかいやーお疲れのところ悪いんだけど真面目に聞いてくれるかな
苦しゅうないっすよ
反省してくれよ頼むからさ本当に分かってんのかなあ
Yeah, and then so again, it's kind of confusing. Like at the end of the OVA, like it's really hard to decide what's going on. You're either
Yeah, it leaves you
you're
scratching
either
your head.
implying that Kodo is the king of Capital City, like she is a reincarnation of the first monk, but like she's a chick, or she is the daughter of. We haven't even talked about the rabbit yet, so like none of this is gonna make any sense.
So she's like trying to find the black rabbit. And like the first OVA, you find out like the black rabbit is some like goddess that used to live in Capital City.
Who's also named Kodo.
Is also named Kodo. And then it's weird, like they say it's her birthday because like there's the three that basically have authority over Capital City.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the monk, Mao. Then we have that one crazy chick, the blonde hair.
Oh, the demon chick?
Yase.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yase.
She has like tea parties all the time, but
Yeah.
it's violent about it.
Oh my god, that scene with the TV.
ありがとう
ちょっとこのお茶いいえお茶は美味しいのそれより何よりとっても問題なのはこのカップがいつもの私のお気に入りのカップじゃないってことよ
いつもの私のカップはどうしたの
Oh yeah, she's like they have spirits and demons in like the town. That's like the idea, and then she's like the leader of all the demons. I think is what is going on.
Yeah. We have that little monk guy also that's like on that floaty thing.
Oh yeah, Mayo is like I think the only one like, real human because the monk on like the floaty thing, I think he was drawn too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, the demon chick kept calling him a human. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah,
when they
well,
were-
because
when they were
he was
fighting.
the apprentice of the first monk who could like draw things and bring them to life.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and then he like bestowed that power onto him.
And I guess Karama is, yeah, the guy you were talking about before, the little head monk guy that's floating around. He was created by Mayo and Lady Kodo, I guess. Huh, that's what it says on the wiki. I'm like reading it from here, but no, that's it. All right, Mayo was like the apprentice of whoever the monk was, I guess. Okay, he's named after the original monk. Okay, so that's where it gets confusing because there's a bunch of people with the same names.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another guy named Mayo who is like the king that they talk about, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the original Mayo had some fun time with Lady Koto,
Yeah.
the Black Rabbit, and that created the demon and Karama, I guess, somehow.
Okay, I can see that.
Hmm
Because they did appear out of nowhere.
Are you talking about when they were in that shrine place?
Yeah.
Episode 5.
Okay.
Of the
Yeah.
second OVA.
Oh, come on. That was
It's
a
like-
really sweet romantic thing.
Yeah, we're going all over the place, but at the same time, the episodes themselves aren't really like chronological. Like you could kind of just watch them anyway, because a lot, like the first OVA, it just throws you in, and then the other 5 are kind of like introductions. So
Well, and then the second one is more just kind of like an episodic thing. It just gives you a little backstory on. We haven't talked about Shoko yet.
yeah. Oh, okay. So I guess to wrap off, you just want to like wrap off the first OVA real quick.
Uh,
Um,
Oh, we're talking about the characters first. My bad.
well, I mean, we were, but we could wrap up the first OVA because that's what we've been referencing a lot, I guess.
yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, the animation is ridiculous. I thought.
Oh man, dude, I loved it.
Oh yeah, it's just all over the place.
Yeah, like the hammer when she just makes it 20 times bigger, and you just see the guys in the white suits just scrambling on the roof as she swings it down on them. They're like, "Oh my god!" It's like, "Move, you idiot!" And then the 2 brothers stop that car with their feet, kick it over,
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, that was really boss.
and then Kodo just bats it, and just oh my gosh.
Again, I compared it to like FLCL and Summer Wars almost, or like the Digimon, like because there was like a lot of scenes of complex sort of city going on, and then like really spastic, weird, very dynamic character
Yeah.
animation. Not something that I would expect from Toei Animation, really. Like that's
Well, I mean,
it
like I
got
would.
out of left field for me.
Okay. Because they've also done they've done One Piece and Dragon Ball Z. So they're used to action stuff. And the interesting thing is like for people who, I mean, I don't know anyone personally, but Precure is a very, very popular franchise in Japan. The director of the original Precure and all the other ones basically directed the show, so there's a lot of that fighting in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
we covered Kurama is like the elderly temple priest, I guess, and I don't even fucking know what he is really.
He's just like, oh, it's fun today.
See, the most confusing part of this anime was when they jump between the council's like magical world and like the real world.
Yeah.
There's a big part of this anime where the priest, the demon, and the head monk like all meet in a weird, bizarre world where they can just summon whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind, Kodo's really OP, but these 3 characters are even more so. So it's just a whole bunch of crazy.
Yeah, so I remember Kodo, she goes around like this park asking people around, like, do you know where I can find the Black Rabbit or whatever? And then so she finds out some backstory, a picture of it or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, found the picture of it. Does that mean I could go home now?
Yeah.
Like she's trying to find the Black Rabbit in order to go home. And then she gets summoned to that weird dimension that you were talking about, where the council is. And they're like, happy birthday! And she's like, it's not even my birthday.
They're like, but it is.
Yeah, it is.
And that's where things get really confusing because, okay, first of all, they imply that Kodo herself, the first one, is the Black Rabbit.
Yeah.
Then they also imply that Kodo is the king. I guess that's kind of what. It's so confusing. It makes me like cry almost. I'm like, what? Because, okay, at the end of the OVA, Lady Kodo, who is the Black Rabbit, who is like a magical rabbit on the moon for some reason,
Well, there's one thing I just want to mention in Japanese culture, like they do have this whole thing with like rabbits in the moon.
Well, yeah.
Just to say,
You've watched Dragon Ball, right?
yeah.
You remember when Goku put Boss Rabbit on the moon?
Oh,
He totally did. Well, again, that's not even no consequence to this series, but that totally did happen.
yeah,
So,
that's true.
I'm reinforcing your like point, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
she kind of descends from the moon, and they have a sort of embrace. Like she kisses, which make a lot more sense if she was like, "You're my like long lost husband that has been reincarnated as a baby."
Sounds really weird.
Yeah, I laughed my butt off when I saw that.
Well, she was really like taken off. She was like, "What the hell is going on?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah."
What happened was like she had to fight Bishimaru, and Shoko was
Right.
like really angry, so she was just having a good time trying to beat
Mm.
her up. And while Koto's fighting Bishimaru, what's his face, Mao and Yase, right?
Yeah.
They're like fighting, and he's getting his butt whooped. And then Koto tries to do like this super attack or whatever with the hammer, and everyone's like, "You idiot!" and she gets swallowed.
Yeah.
Eaten by Vishmaru.
Oh.
I'm like, at the same time, it makes a lot of sense. At the same time, it doesn't.
Hello?
Hello?
Did you hear that?
Did you hear that?
Yes. It was
Well.
like a sandstorm.
Oh my god,
God.
that scared the crap out of me.
I'm sorry, I could not hear a word you said it because like it was like this.
No, you were completely gone.
It was like
What?
a lot of. It was like a lot of back.
It was a huge, gigantic rustling sound.
Yeah.
Like right against the mic, it sounded.
What the? Oh wow.
Sorry,
Sorry.
we couldn't hear you for about like 30 seconds.
Yeah. I was like, what's wrong with my computer? I was like clicking on stuff. I was like, what did I do?
I'm sorry. I don't know what I did there. Actually, that's. I didn't say anything important. Don't worry about it. I was just saying that I was very confused about what's going on in this anime. It makes a lot of sense, and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's a summary of what I said.
Okay. But yeah, so like yeah, she makes out with her, and then it's like at the end of the credits, well, it was weird because she's like, you have like I'm your power or something. Like the Black Rabbit was like
Yeah, she's like, speak and I'll make crap happen.
Yeah.
And she looks like a doll too. Like she looks like she's completely lost her mind, like the original Kodo.
Yeah.
Like she comes to her senses and like, I want to go home.
Yeah, and it almost feels like that's after the second OVA, you know.
Yeah.
She didn't have the hammer before. Like she didn't have that hammer in the other OVA.
I mean, it would actually make sense if they ended the whole thing right there.
Yeah,
Like, if that's how it ended.
I think the last 5 episodes, like after that, those were all leading up to that. I'd say so. Like that makes a lot of sense.
Beginning with the end.
Well, and then we didn't talk about Inari, who did some weird stuff in the OVA too that doesn't make any sense really. You remember the guy with the fox mask?
Oh yeah. Her sensei. Yeah.
Yeah, but during the OVA, he turned up and he like broke something. You remember
Oh,
that?
Yeah.
Yes. Who the hell was that?
That was her
Exactly.
sensei.
Like you sort of forget about that, but you're like, wait, what was he even doing there? He seemed to know what he was doing, but nobody else did,
Yeah.
and that didn't come up in like
Certainly
the next
not
5
me.
Yeah, oh,
And I'm so
over
confused.
my fucking head.
Like I feel like that was the dad. I'm just convinced that was Koto's dad because they had a striking resemblance. Besides the face, obviously you can't see his face, but like the same exact hair and bow.
That being said, I was convinced that Koto's dad is Koto, but it was her own dad somehow. I don't know. It's just really weird. But yeah, he broke something. Like they revealed earlier that Koto was under Inari. Like he was a disliked entity among the monk group or whatever they're doing.
They call him the Fox.
Yeah, and they didn't like really like him that much, and they didn't like her as a consequence. But they all like got over it, I guess, or something. But then he like flew out of nowhere and the OVA and did some weird shit. I don't even know what he did though. Like it was like he broke something, and then it made her
I
like.
don't even.
Because like the Black Rabbit's like at the end of the credits, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I was mistaken." So I'm just assuming she thought that was Koto Sensei. So
It's really confusing. This anime has been like really refreshing for me though, as far as like stuff that I've seen recently. It's been really off the wall, very oddball, and very like kind of crazy, and I like want to see more of it.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be more. Thank God, this coming season.
Yeah.
Happy face.
I really want them to just... Someone needs to just sit... There needs to be a convention where people just sit everyone down and just explain, okay, here's what's happening.
Yes.
Let's do that anime crossroads.
Chronological order. Well, that probably would have been a... Even explaining in chronological order wouldn't have made a lot of sense out of it.
Yeah. So I guess that's the end of the OVA as far as like that first one. So
Yeah. Second one was really good.
yeah,
Well,
I think
it was really funny.
like the
Yeah.
first one is like the attention grabber. It's like the gateway where you're like, what the heck is this? And then the second one's is like, okay, this is what this is about, somewhat.
Yeah.
Well, I told Marlon earlier that I thought Shoko, the Professor Shoko, was sort of what a lot of otaku like dudes would want, like in a lady, like sort of like a crazy chick, very headstrong with her PS3, like commanding a giant robot.
She's kind of violent, but yeah.
Well, and there's like that sort of tomboy theme that sort of persisted throughout this. Like Kodo herself is sort of like wild and crazy, and then Shoko is like looks like a little kid, but she's like the leader of like whatever division or whatever thing is protecting that particular city.
Yeah.
何がないんですか？
リモコンに決まってんでしょ
And somebody we didn't mention, Fushimi, I guess that's like her assistant.
Oh yeah, it gets
And-
kicked around a lot.
Yeah, he's like the straight guy, the straight man of the series.
The
not
only
just-
straight guy in the show. Yeah.
The only straight guy in the show. Every other guy is... No, the straight man of sort of like her instance.
Yeah.
He's like the voice of reason, and Shoko's a very violent, angry person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause she's like the whole time in the first OVA, she's like, get her!
Well, it doesn't... Maybe I'm just like putting this in my head because I always imagine it with this like character trope, but then she'd have like a sucker or like a cigarette.
Oh,
or
she had
something.
Pocky.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she always had that, and she was...
Oh my god, they had like Pocky in a briefcase. And like they open this briefcase and it's just full of Pocky. She takes one out. I was just like
Yeah.
I like the one where she's looking for her magical PS3.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, like, she doesn't even need that specific one. She could just install, like, an interface on any of them. But she's like, no, that one's my special one. I need it.
yeah.
And she's, like, really, really depressed because... I don't know, she's a fucking crazy person.
These guys freaking trying to catch a bird.
Yeah.
That poor
They-
bird.
He has an entire, like, task force dedicated to, like...
They drove this car. They drove a car on a roof.
That reminded me of LLCL too, is the fact
Oh
that
my
those
God.
white guys were like just bouncing like from roof to roof, just like, yeah, we
Yeah.
can drive this car wherever we want.
They were just jumping off rooftops
I
trying to.
freaking lost it. I was just like, they're driving on this roof, just tearing the whole thing up. I was just like, God.
You guys ever seen Castle in the Sky?
A
Yeah.
little bit.
Kind of remind me of the thugs at the beginning that are like after the girl. They're sort of like bouncing around, you know, sort of that old school style. Like they're dressed really smart.
Blues Brothers.
Yeah. That's really. And they're all really like tough and then like they have to submit to the will of Shoko, who is this crazy pocky eating little girl.
One thing that just reminded me of was in Nadia, Secret of Blue Water. Yeah, there was like this one villain. They soon become sort of like allies, but there's this chick that looks just like what's her face from Team Rocket. Wow,
Oh, Jesse.
Jessie.
Yeah.
How did I forget? Yeah, it looks just like Jessie, and then she has two dudes with her that are dressed up in white suits with sunglasses, and like one's like tall and slim, the other one's kind of short and chubby. So it just made me think of that a lot. 'Cause it's like this crazy woman in charge, and like these guys in white suits.
Well, it's a go-to henchmen, like the guys that are dressed really proper and like, you must submit to our demands.
Yeah.
I think that's how like Japan views like the Western gangsters. These guys are like really smartly dressed and very like, all right, you know, we're gonna enforce our, like Western mafia, and then like over there they have the Yakuza and stuff like that.
Yeah.
bunch of delinquents or whatever. I don't know.
One thing I loved about the second episode was that's the one, right? The controller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the controller episode.
And apparently she drinks too. Like,
Yeah, she's old enough to drink. Like, she's drinking beer, telling everybody, yes, everybody drinks. She was, like, celebrating.
Yeah,
And
she's like, yeah, I'm awesome.
stuff. I found it. And
I found it. And then
oh yeah.
Fushimi's like tells one of the goons, he's like, hey, dude, check this out. And he has
Wait,
like,
wait, is
he
that
asked him.
yes?
He's like, "How did you actually find it?"
yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay, but don't tell her."
Yeah.
He was like,
He's like, and that, yeah, like, near the end of the episode, he, like, calls the place and he's like, oh, yeah, you have it? Thank you.
he's like, yeah, I did put a GPS on there.
Yeah.
She would kill me if I told her, so even though I don't know why, it's like, it's convenient.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because she's, like, a headstrong, like, idiot.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
like, she can command Bishimaru, and she's probably done something in the past that has, like, gotten her to that rank.
When the dude suggested, "Why don't you just put a GPS in it?" She's like, "What are you talking about? It's not like I'd ever lose it." And I was
It's not like I ever listen. He's just like, he gets kicked in the nuts.
She just destroyed a half a city, if not more, trying to find it, so.
Well, and that's great. She shows up to their house and, like, blows a hole in it, and she's like, I think somebody knocked, and then she, like, tries
She's like, yeah. Aru, and they're like, nobody's home.
She, like, tries to grab Kodo, and she's just, like, dodging around, just being like, oh, oh. She, like, thinks that they're playing around, and then the priest gets really pissed off, and he's like, all right, if you're gonna play, do it away from here.
And then destroys the rest of the house while kicking them out. That was a very FLCL moment, too. Just seeing bodies flying and dirt everywhere and
just houses exploding.
And what happened in the third episode, actually? I kind of forget.
Oh, that's the one where, like, I guess once a year or something, like, stuff floats to the train station.
And then
yeah.
Yase has her demon, like, go around and film people and ask them what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, alright. Yeah, that one's kind of... That's, like, a weird plot point, though, because it does pop up a little bit, but at the same time, you're kind of like, why?
Yeah, it doesn't explain why. They're just like, basically, they say anything that's useless just gets floats away to this train station.
And then people get, like, mad, like, when they ask around, they're like, well, who cares? It's, like, useless crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the dialogue of the rat. It looked like a rat, I think, from the silhouette.
Yeah, he was just kind of...
He has like a little webcam or something attached.
And Shoko gets mad, like, that he keeps going around filming things.
She's like, just stay out of her way. We're...
So, that, I mean, that, again, useless things float away to a train station, and then they just get sent away. That's basically the idea of that episode.
And you don't really know why, you just know it happens.
Yeah.
I like how that little demon thing is throwing away Yase's, like, all of her expensive dishes and stuff.
Like, yeah, that's implying, like, there's, like, a mythological little demon that goes around and decides, okay, this stuff goes.
Yeah.
Yase's favorite cup goes, and...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
She's like...
Where's my usual cup?
Yeah, she's like, there's nothing wrong with the tea. It's just, this is not my cup. And then she just turns Hulk, and actually it reminds me of Stella. Or not Stella, well, yeah, Stella and Biscuit, because...
Yeah.
It's just Hulk mode, going crazy, and...
Yeah.
The rest of the demons are like, oh my god.
Yeah, so you see it in, like, slow motion, like, the room turning into chaos. Like,
yeah, it was pretty great.
And she, like, blows up the mansion in the process.
Yeah.
Oh, like, oh no, not again.
Yeah, the freaking, like, when she's banging on the TV trying to get it to work. And then, like, she just bangs it once and then she bangs it again. And then she just goes. Her head, like, completely changes. She just bashes the crap out the TV. And she's like, oh, look, it works.
And I love that little scene with Shoko's minions when there's a little girl, she has a teddy bear, and she's like, I don't want to let it go. And the mom's like, it's useless. And I was like, that's kind of mean.
Yeah.
And she's like, little kids, get floated away when they're
not behaving.
And then she starts floating away, and the mom's like, oh my gosh, no.
He's like, holy crap.
No.
I was joking. That's not supposed to actually happen.
And then those men come, like, out of a... and they get that ladder.
Yeah, like out of the car. Yeah.
This 30-foot tall ladder.
At first, Kodo tries to save her, and then she's like, oh, we're still going up, and then, yeah, that was just...
And then, like, Shoko shows up with, like, all of her henchmen, and then she's like, wait, you're still filming?
And they
Yeah,
had like the perfect calculation because like the very last guy, like on the very tip of the ladder, catches her. Yeah.
You've seen Ninja Nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Those are the white guys remind me of the ninjas.
Oh yeah,
right?
Sasuke.
They remind me of Sasuke and all the other ones.
Yeah.
Those are what those guys are.
And then Shoko just shoots the teddy bear out of the sky. Like,
Yeah,
I've had enough time wasting.
she's like, all right, I could have done this from the beginning, but you know what? I've had enough of it.
Yeah.
Good episode.
But I guess like the first episode, it just kind of focuses on Kodo, her origin, like how she met her sensei.
Talking about Inari.
Yeah. Like he has his own familiars. They're kind of jerks to Kodo.
Yeah, they're like
Oh my
assholes.
God,
They're like,
yes.
he's like, oh, don't be a baby. Inari's leaving now. You have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And he goes, meow, meow,
Yeah.
meow. Something like that.
And then it cut like he leaves her, and it cuts to like her getting bumped by like one of her brothers or whatever, and then beating the crap out of him.
He's like, well, he was weak. He should have been better defending
Yeah.
himself. And Inari's like, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, or like when she's beating him up, he's like, Kodo, if you're gonna fight him, like, you know, get your stance right. He's like, oh, okay. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, they were also saying like they didn't know if she was human or a demon or something because of her like red eyes or something. Like they treated her like an outcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the montage at the very end of that episode where like it shows her moving like a clock around the earth, and then it shows that awesome scene running on the rooftop, and then you see that hilarious scene where it shows the tea party and that Cyclops gets his hand destroyed and he reaches for a cookie.
It's not time yet.
So, well, Kodo's talking to her sensei when she's still a little kid. She's like, yeah, I want to, you know, make it back, I guess, to Earth. Meet my mom, ask her who my dad was or what he was like.
Right. And that's where things get really weird. When you start asking, like, who Kodo's mom and dad is, it's like, there's too many possible answers.
Well, we know that Inari knows because she asks him, like, yeah, you know, probably, right? And he's like, yep. But I'm not going to tell you. You're going to find out on your own.
Of course.
Well, it's sort of implied that Kodo is like a reincarnation of someone. That is like a big thing in the series. Like, Lady Kodo is actually a person, so it's probably not her mom. What I'm saying is, like, the only thing left would be that she is a reincarnation of the original Mayo, the original monk, who, like, left the city for whatever reason.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I'm sort of leaning towards. At the same time, there are many directions the anime will pull you towards, but that would also kind of explain why Lady Kodo did the creepy, like, making out thing. Like, it wasn't that kind of serious where it's trying to make you uncomfortable up until that point.
Yeah. I think, well, yeah, she thought it was Inari, I'm assuming. Like, because she was like, oh, my bad, I thought you were someone else or something. So.
I don't... Did you say that?
Oh, she said I was mistaken. Yeah. At the end of the credits.
Oh, I didn't...
When Kodo was spitting and crying, she was like, no, a woman kissed me. And then,
Well, yeah, that is a little weird. I don't know.
I just remember the Black Rabbit saying, like, you know, I was mistaken.
Oh, okay, so she's... So she just accidentally made out with her daughter, that's fine.
Yeah, that's alright.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of the second episode, when, like, the way Wakashi sent me the episodes, like, one was from one side, and the second one was from another side. So I started the second episode from the link he gave me, and, like, for the first, like, 5 seconds, I swear to God, I thought he sent me the wrong episode.
It was like, was I supposed
That's
to start?
what I thought.
I was like, this isn't right.
No. Okay, what happened in the fourth episode, though? I'm, like, forgetting.
Okay, fourth episode was focusing on the monk.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Okay, yes, that's the one where, yeah, alright. He's, like, waiting for his master.
Yeah.
So this is the episode where Mayo is revealed to be the actual, like, second Mayo, actually.
Yeah.
That confused me, and he looked like Takun, I'm just saying.
Well, and they both looked the exact same. Like, when he was a little kid, the older guy looked exactly like Mayo now. So I was like, okay, is this the older Mayo in the future telling the little guy to, like, wait for him? Yeah, the council...
Didn't he look like the painter guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea, that, like, both of them look exactly the same, just to confuse everybody. Yeah, I was really confused by the end of the episode, and then they showed the painter in the next one. I'm like, okay, so this guy is not this guy now. They both have the same name and look exactly the same, but they are different.
So, like, through the majority of the fourth episode, it was just Mao just waiting at the station, and then Kodo comes out, and she's like, oh, were you waiting for me? And she's like, oh, the doggy, and
Right.
they get on the moped, which this also reminded me of FLCL.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he has, like, the moped with, like, the helmet and the scarf, you know? If there was a silhouette of that, I would have been like, that's Haru, you know?
Yeah.
Had you told me this was made by, like, Gainax instead of Toei, I would have been like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It wasn't?
Nope.
It must be FLCL fans.
Yeah, who isn't?
Eh,
who knows, people.
I don't want to talk about them. I don't associate with those types of people.
Go back to our previous episode, like a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess like the rest of the episode they're kind of like driving around, and then Kodo's just yapping, and Mao's like, "Oh, can you shut up?" And
yeah. He's like, I'm not in the mood for your shit.
Oh yeah,
my
when they
God,
get to a
I was
vending machine,
so-
she just.
I was so mad at that freaking rabbit guy.
At the very beginning, yeah.
I
He's
was
just drink.
I was physically like angry.
He's just drinking that
like-
cup and like being kicked and punched, and he's like, "Whatever, I'm still finishing this can."
I like how he keeps popping up throughout the series too.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, whatever.
And like he goes to get it again and it was sold out. I was like, you poor person.
So he has to get like a nasty flavored one, and he's like, and like that one blonde chick is like, yeah, he's just a lot of bad luck.
Yeah.
Well, what you're saying, like Kodo keeps yapping and he's like, this woman won't stop talking to me. I can't shut her up.
Yeah.
And then when she finally is quiet, she gets off the like first like she strangles him with the scarf, and then jumps off and like kicks him into a pillar or something. And he's like, "What the flip?" He's like, "Well, he told me not to say anything, so."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, he wanted to get some soda from the
Yeah.
vending machine.
It was like that
Guy.
same thing, and she was like, "Oh my god, this sucks! Almost everything's sold out." I was just like,
Blame that fucking bunny guy. He's the source of all the woes.
yeah,
I hope he shows up in the TV series.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Well, because in the opening, like you sent me like the a trailer for it, and he kept showing up, and I was like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I thought he was going to be like a main part of the story, and then it like turned out like no, he's just a poor.
Just there. No, I did see him in the first one, in the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I thought he was the Black Rabbit. Like, is that the Black Rabbit?
Yeah, I thought that was what like everyone was looking for, but no.
Well, because the priest like shows him a picture of, oh, here's your rabbit. You can go home now, and
Yeah.
he just like hits him, and then like runs away. He's like, I know that's not who I'm looking for. It's just a bum who steals soda.
Yes, and then I guess at the end of that, they're walking in the field, and Mao asks Kodo why she named Ah and Un their names, which I was kind of like, yeah, that sounds kind of stupid. And she says it's like, means the beginning and the end or something.
Yeah.
And the beginning of that episode starts off with Mio being abandoned by his master, saying that he'd come back one day and he would bring back the beginning and the end.
Yeah. Yeah, when he said that, I was like, okay, whatever that means. Like,
And
I
then,
was
like,
just trying to picture that, and I was like, okay. And then she says what their names mean, and I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. That was like my reaction. I'm like, she's the one. And then that led me to believing she was somehow her own daddy or something. I don't know. Again, if we get into the family tree, is more like family.
Oh my
like,
god.
Spider
family
web
scribble?
of hate, confusion, and
This
frustration.
is not a tree. This is an amorphic gelatinous piece of goop.
Stupid. Yeah, amorphous goop is probably the best way to put it. We don't know.
I guess that leads to the fifth episode, which was focused on the original monk.
Yeah.
The villagers, I guess, that he lived with, like, kind of left him because he could draw things to life, and they're like, that's creepy.
Yeah, so like he was forced to go and hide into the mountains and like be
Yeah, he
around.
became Obi-Wan Kenobi.
This thing isn't even like the episode isn't even long, but it really like gets you right in the feels.
Oh, totally. That being said, I think that's sort of a like legend in Japan lore. Like there was a monk who, or somebody who could draw
Oh
and
yeah.
bring it to life. I think that's come up a couple of times. And keep in mind, like this episode pretty much has no audio at all. Actually, I think it's
Yeah.
mostly just a musical score that goes over it.
Yeah, in English.
And, yeah, and then you're just sort of like, yeah, it hits you in the feels.
Yeah, so like as an American, I'm like, yeah, I appreciate this episode more than the Japanese because I know what they're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, the story of the man who could like draw and bring things to life, yeah, that comes up a lot. Like that guy was like the whole center of attention in the Teen Titans movie.
Yeah, you're right. It was. There was like, I can't remember what his name was, but
Bro Shogun.
yeah, Bro Shogun, and he could bring things to life. And also, there's an anime that I watched that this episode reminded me a lot of. It was called Mushishi.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I know what you're talking
And
about.
Mushishi is very atmospheric, and that's what sort of this reminded me of too, because it's a lot more of like painting a story without words, really. Like it's giving you a little bit of what's going on without, revealing too much. That's what it made me think of, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was something in Mushishi, I think, where somebody who, whatever they drew, would come to life. So,
Yeah, I was thinking of the episode where like the guy was asleep and he was like talking in his sleep and he's like, "Oh, are those geese?" And then like the dude's standing over him watching him. He's like, "What's he talking about?" And then he looks at a painting and it has geese in it and like the geese are actually moving.
right.
Yeah.
I just remembered how SpongeBob did that too with that magic pencil.
Oh, yeah.
Little Bob.
Actually, now that you say
about
that, I'm pretty sure that this episode was based off of that SpongeBob episode,
Oh
really.
yeah, definitely.
Maybe.
That was really disturbing for me as a kid. I was kind of like scared of that. I was like,
Where's the leak, ma'am?
yeah. Like,
You doodle. Me spot.
Me haba haba. Can you say that again? Me ha haba haba. Oh man.
we were talking about like ancient Japanese lore, but actually it probably came from SpongeBob. Now that I think.
Yeah, I mean the wackiness is up there. So
Here's the drawing. Oh, freaking the painter guy from that episode of SpongeBob with the pencil.
Mhm.
That was the voice of Plankton.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's such
Probably
a-
one of the best artists I've seen in a while.
Oh, I mean that's.
My
Yeah.
pencil!
No, you take it up, but then, and then like it shoots out water. My pencil.
and then as soon as he tries to draw with it again, it just snaps. And they sharpen that pencil a million times, and somehow when he gets it back, it's like normal size.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
oh
They
man,
broke it in half, too.
Yeah.
some weird stuff. But yeah, and then the end of that episode, basically, he draws a rabbit, and it comes to life as like a woman who is also a rabbit.
Oh, that's what happened.
A humanoid rabbit is how it's described on the wiki.
Okay. Oh, so he drew her to existence.
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
idea.
He did.
Okay, so okay, that's weird. So it's like he drew his wife into existence. Okay.
Well, yeah, I
It's
think he was
like,
just really, really lonely.
Yeah.
That
Because
was the
like I
idea.
remember seeing like Black Rabbit and then that drawing, that really abstractish drawing of the rabbit. And it says Black Rabbit and then glows and she appears.
She's
And
like
she
eating-
has like the rabbit ears.
Mhm.
So is he the monk? I guess he was the monk that people were referring to, right?
Yeah.
In the first OVA.
And I think he's actually the king of Capital City because I guess, again, like I said earlier, he and the rabbit, had relations that ended up leading to Yase and Kurama.
Yeah. And that's
And-
why everyone like refers her as mom.
Right. And then the second Mayo, who takes care of, Kodo at the beginning, he was the apprentice. Like, he showed up there one day and he was like, wait, what the hell is this black rabbit here? And she's like, oh, you. and then just messes with him and stuff. That's what I've gathered. Again, there's only an instrumental track to it.
Yeah.
Great music, by the way.
Oh yeah, I liked it a lot.
That was good English, because a lot of
Yeah.
times when you hear songs in anime in English, it's like English.
It's English, yeah. My favorite band, The Pillows. I mean, I love their music, but like they sing in English.
Yeah.
I just think it's adorable.
I like him a lot. I got a couple of their albums after I was like, okay, I need to get the FLCL, like all the songs from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like, good English and stuff like that, and not gonna lie, I was a little drunk at the time. That may have influenced me, but even then I was kind of sort of tearing up and being like, oh.
It was kind of sad, though.
It had
Just a little.
feels.
Yeah, it had the feels. Then you see the baby at the end, they're on the moon, and this is just my thought. Was that shrine in the whole episode, like that building that was just torn apart?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the shrine, I think.
Okay, yeah. And then someone walks behind her, and I want to assume that's Inari, because I saw a lot of white.
I don't think it's Inari. I think Inari is just like some outside force. I don't know.
I mean, Inari existed. He wasn't just.
Oh yeah, it's just I think he's more like some sort of catalyst for some reason that he knows what's going on, but he's not actually a part of it. That's what I gather. But maybe he's the dad. That would still be weird because he's young and stuff like that. And I don't know.
Maybe he's immortal or something.
I mean, who knows?
Because they do mention that they're in hell or something, or the underworld, something. They're definitely not on Earth.
Yeah.
Even though they call it Kyoto, so it's alternate Kyoto or something.
Who do you guys think that the baby was?
I want to say Kodo.
That's what I was thinking. I was leaning towards Kodo because didn't she say that she would someday be reunited with her?
Yeah, I want to lean toward Kodo, but I wouldn't be surprised if the series started up again and it revealed that it wasn't. But
I'm sure the series is going to ruin everything that we think.
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, I'd say Kodo. Yeah, that's probably a better thing too. At the same
that
time,
makes sense, but saying that makes sense is a huge stretch with this show.
See, and I'm going to stick to my insane Kodo is actually her own dad reincarnated theory until somebody dashes my hopes and dreams, and then I'll just be okay, whatever.
Yeah, until the first episode of the TV series is hey, guess what?
Inari is her dad, actually, and I'm like, fine, whatever, that's cool. Take the easy way out.
Yeah, in a way, I kind of like the OVA right now as a person who hasn't seen the TV series because it lets you imagine what the heck's going on.
Definitely. Yeah, you gotta use a little imagination.
No, you can imagine anything with this, any sort of direction you can go in this show.
Actually, they're in the Matrix right now.
It's all really a dream.
And the moon is the real world. No, that's how I described the ending of Bleach, actually, that they all woke up and Ichigo was having having a dream, and it was going to turn out to be a slice of life for the last few chapters.
Wow.
I had a really, really compelling argument that made a avid Bleach fanatic question what do you believe? Which goes to show that it's really easy to come up with fan theories if you're bored.
Yeah.
And want to ruin somebody's day.
Like the Totoro theory that I never stopped talking about because it's so bizarre.
Never heard of it.
Apparently, I don't know, there's a theory that somehow Totoro was sent to kill God. I don't know, I'd have to look it up.
It's not very intimidating.
Yeah, I know, right?
Maybe that's the secret weapon. It's oh, you don't expect anything to happen. It's oh my gosh! He gets a knife through your throat.
The only fan theory that I'll instantly dissuade without any thought at all or even reading it is the main character is in a coma theory. It just pops up all the time, and I'm just they do that a lot with children's shows, and I'm Man, you're just taking an easy cop out to ruin somebody's day, or trying to ruin somebody's day.
Yeah.
He was in a coma the entire time. She was only imagining this, this, and this, and this, or like whatever. This is just silly. Totoro was sent to kill God, though. Like, I don't know about that. That's one of the more things I've heard.
I don't know how having fun in the forest equals that, but
God hates the forest, Marlon. That's why he invented forest fires. That's the only reason.
that's why they just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just divine retribution.
I guess.
There's no logical explanation for
I'm
them.
kind of curious about this house. It's really bizarre.
Are we done talking about Kyousogiga, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, that was all the episodes.
Yeah, so I guess your final thoughts.
The show can go a lot smoother if you don't fight it and just accept what's happening.
Very
Wow.
much agreed. Mission statement for the show. Just let this happen.
Just let it happen, and it'll go by a lot easier.
Just like jail rape.
Yeah, it's just like...
Exactly.
Shh. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. Don't worry.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I first watched the show, like the first OVA, I was like, okay, what the heck just happened? And then I watched the mini episodes, and then I went back to the original, and I appreciated it more, and I was like, okay, I know what's going on, sort of. So I would say watch the first one to get your attention, watch the second ones to have some backstory, and then watch the first one again to like know what happened. For this. All right, there we go.
Hello?
All right. Okay, I'm here.
Yep.
All right. My thoughts are it's a very refreshing, sort of quirky anime that you don't fight it, like you said, and also don't be against like thinking about it. Like put your thoughts into it, drive yourself insane because you're gonna have a lot of fun like doing that. Really, you're going to like frustrate yourself, but at the same time, you're gonna be like, the animation is really smooth and very crisp. If they can keep that up with the series, I really hope they do.
Yes.
That they keep up the quirky like animation. They don't dumb it down or simplify it like they've done with so many other series.
They don't really have an excuse to make it look bad because it's only going to be like 13 episodes. That's enough.
Oh yeah, again, it was really, really well done. I love the animation. I love the quirky style. The plot was really freaking weird, and I would like it to be that way. In a way, it kind of reminded me of Baccano a little bit, where they give you bits of story and you have to connect it yourself.
Yeah.
So think about it like a really abstract puzzle that somebody's just left you with, and they're like, well, whatever you put together is fine. Don't worry about, like, if there's some missing pieces or stuff, you can just do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing I want to mention, because I almost forgot, this whole production was basically streamed legally by the company, like Banpresto and Toei. Like they worked together to make this project, and it's, well, I don't know about the first OVA, but I know the second one is all legally online on YouTube, like on their channel. I thought that was pretty cool because it wasn't like pay to watch; they just put it on there. So I watched it on a streaming site just for convenience because not all of it was subbed. So.
I think a majority of what I watched was like on Vimeo or something like that. Like it was just like right on there.
Yeah.
Like you showed me the first one and then like the second one, and I was just like, okay, they're all like right up here, so I can just check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely utilize the freedom that they could have just releasing it on the web. Like they make full use of that, which is really, really good.
Yeah. I think one thing we mentioned earlier was like I like how the length of each episode in the second OVA is like it varies a lot,
Right.
and it feels like they just kind of they had a story and they're like, okay, this is the amount of time we need to tell the story, and then we'll just end it, episode over.
No filler, no like chuff or anything like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 Oh, I forgot to say another reason why I have like no free time is because I've been watching Breaking Bad.
I'm waiting for it to finish, and then I'm gonna just watch it all in one thing.
It has one episode left.
Yeah, I know, and everybody's already sort of spoiling it for me, but I'm still like remaining ignorant enough where I can just do it.
Yeah, no one's spoiling it for me, but my freaking teachers are like loving that show.
I have it all DVR'd, so I'm just like waiting.
Yeah.
Like, wait.
I'm on season 4 right now, but
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, dude, It's gonna be super, super rad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was our impression of what's it called again? I don't even remember.
Kyousogiga.
Kyousogiga, yes.
Yes. The TV series comes out this fall season as of this recording.
They released the lineup.
Yeah.
I really hope
Oh, yeah.
that if it does get picked up over here, that they like replace the name with something a little easier. Like the actual Attack on Titan, the manga is like something really, really crazy that I have to look up every time
Yeah.
to find. I don't know. It's just weird for me.
Yeah. I guess the English title is Capital City, and like the first one was like Capital City Comic. I didn't get where the comic part came in on the
Me neither.
subtitles. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all for listening. This has been Takun with Wakashi.
Yep.
And Curtis.
Yep.
Happy Thursday to us all.
Yeah.
It's actually not that late.
Yeah. See you in October.
Yep. We will see you then. Bye-bye.
Later. Happy face. Okay. Wow. Let me see how long this recording was. I need to stop this. It was almost 2. No, that was 2 hours. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, so like
I hate myself.
Oh, one thing. You guys, like you were talking about cosplay like earlier, it like vaguely came up. I went to a cross-dressing party actually one night out of the blue.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I mean, like, I was planning on just sitting and just playing Borderlands kind of drunk that night. And then a guy called me up and he was like, hey, you want to go to the liquor store? And I'm like, I guess so. And then we went up there and then another guy calls me and he's like, hey, dude, are you going to this cross-dressing party? And he like acted like I knew what I was talking about. I'm like, no, that's not something I usually engage in. He's like, no, dude. I mean, there are gonna be like chicks there and stuff too. Like, I mean, it's not gonna be like a gathering of people who cross dress all the time. And I'm like, okay, what up? And I wore a trash bag dress and a shirt over that. And again, it kind of felt like cosplay, or felt like I was at a convention because there were some people there who like showed up and I guess they didn't get the memo. And I felt like weird when I was in the room alone with them, and then they like felt weird when they were in the room with all the like people who were like cross-dressing and stuff. So that was kind of weird, but it was fun, I guess. First time I ever dressed up in a dress, so that I remember.
I have a terrible, terrible childhood memory of my sister dressing me up and putting makeup on me when I was like 5. And then I looked in the mirror like an idiot being surprised. Like what is a surprise?
Yeah.
My friend who has like a huge beard was wearing like full makeup, like he had blush on, mascara and stuff like that. And like I saw him there. He was more scary than anything. I was like, he was like, I didn't have anything. Yeah, he's like, I didn't have anything to change into, so I just wore makeup. And I was like, oh, God.